you're in for a treat. Community programs are great. You're watching Peters Township Cable Channel 7.
Your TV volunteers are Boy Scouts, engineers, executive directors, students, hospital administrators, senior citizens, celebrities. Have you ever considered what community television would be like without its volunteers? It can't be done without them, so be a visionary. Volunteer for your community television station. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
More than 146,000 people enter this building every year to enrich their lives in over 600 programs at the Peters Township Library.
And we have to depend on our volunteers to do all kinds of work to help our patrons.
Volunteers repair books, barcode books, reshelve books, and help with children's programs. If you would like to volunteer, call your local library.
gentlemen, please stay standing for the national anthem, the alma mater, as presented by Mr. Larry Lucas and the instrumental music students. Please be seated. Welcome everybody to the Peters Township High School commencement ceremonies for the class of 1996. It's a great day for our seniors, their immediate and extended families, guests, and friends gathered here to celebrate these young men and women's symbolic rite into adulthood. I would like to publicly acknowledge my pride in and love for these students, and thank their families for the honor of having had the opportunity to be their principal for 4 years. At this time, it's with an additional sense of pride that I would like to recognize a group of guests of particular importance. These guests are the faculty and staff who have chosen to step forward and share this moment with their students. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you and ask if they would rise at this time and be recognized, the faculty and staff of Peters Township Schools. Thank you. Another group of individuals most instrumental in the development of our young people and our great school district are the Board of School Directors. At this time, I would like the members of the school board to stand as I recite their names. Mr. James O'Kelly, Mr. Mark Katikia, Mr. John Culver, Mr. George Fiddleman, Mr. Thomas McMurray, Mrs. Laura Veronice, Mr. Stephen Rogers, Mrs. Karen Scharf, Mrs. Marlene Tobin, Board of School Directors. At this time, I'd like to introduce our first of several speakers, the valedictorian of the class of 1996, Peter A. Holman.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome my fellow graduates, our parents, families, friends, and teachers to this morning's graduation ceremony for the class of 1996. As I was thinking about what I would say to you today, I recalled a verse that's been on a wall in my home for years. It's about parents and children, and I think its words embody what this day is all about. There are two important things a parent can give to his children. One is roots, and the other is wings. Commencement is the perfect time to ponder the past and be thankful for the roots that have gotten us here today, and to look ahead to the time soon when we will soar away on untested wings. Our roots are the things that have been our anchors and security for the last 18 years. I believe those roots are our families, friends, and faith. I have been extremely fortunate that my family has always been supportive of me, and I would thank them for their love and guidance. They have provided me with encouragement and an excellent foundation from which I could grow. Our friends have also been very important, and we've shared a lot with them through the years. We have learned about who we are from our friends, and will regret saying goodbye to those who have come to mean a great deal in our lives. Together, we have rejoiced in victory and wept in defeat. Today, we will cease to exist as a unit moving together through time. We will be leaving behind something precious, but taking with us many memories. Faith is the last of the three anchors that I believe should be recognized today. When I look around at everyone graduating today, I see a unique individuals with remarkable talents and strengths. These traits are wonderful gifts that we have been given. We have been blessed in the past and will continue to be blessed in the future. And now, what about the wings? Whether we like it or not, today marks the day that we are literally being pushed out of the nest. Will we flutter and fall to the ground? Probably so. Will we get bumped and bruised and whirl around, hoping for someone to intervene? Yes, that will happen too. But from now on, we will be exclusively in charge of our own decisions and mistakes. Our wings, in part, have come from the solid education we have received at Peters Township High School. We have been exposed to a plethora of ideas and encouraged to learn, grow, and become thinking individuals. In a few short years, we have changed from dependent children into dependable young adults who are now ready to move on. But using our wings and moving on is not always easy. It takes courage and determination to leave a place where we have been safe and secure for so long. In a classic series of books, The Lord of the Rings trilogy, J.R.R. Tolkien discusses this moving on and challenges us to be steadfast until we arrive at our destination. One of his Middle-earth songs says, "The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone, and I must follow if I can." Tolkien then says, "It's a dangerous business going out of your door." Moving on is dangerous, but is also challenging and exciting. Fortunately, each of us has acquired roots that are deep enough and wings that are strong enough to carry us on our journeys. To the members of the class of 1996, I wish you continued happiness and success wherever your journeys may lead you. Thank you.
Our second speaker is Salutatorian Jared Paul Amon.
Thank you all for coming to share this special occasion with those of us graduating. Today I just want to take a moment to reflect on a few things regarding our high school careers and some thoughts for the future. Remember back in the 9th grade, sitting in algebra class when somebody asked, "How are we ever going to use this stuff?" Well, we have come a long way since then, and by now I hope that you all have answered that question for yourselves. We have learned where the algebra is important and why even the simplest job can use it. Yet, even if you never use algebra in your line of work someday, remember that knowledge of all things gives us a better appreciation of the world. With chemistry and physics, we understand better the world around us and can someday hopefully answer all the little questions our grandchildren may ask us. With psychology and sociology, We have learned to better understand and appreciate all of the different kinds of people around us in the world we live in. With English and the arts, we have learned to enjoy and understand the many forms of communication that people use. Although throughout our years of school, we may have aimed for that A or B, we have learned and have grown. While some of us may have suffered from senioritis this year, I want to remind you that when we go off to college or perhaps a career, we need to return to doing our absolute best. Don't hold back, and remember that in college, everything counts, and our efforts will determine the quality of life we will enjoy for the rest of our years. When you all go out into the world, let me challenge you to not simply ride the tide of life, waiting and hoping for things to happen, but to go out and make things happen. Don't wait for that job to just come to you. Take the initiative and go take that job. In today's world especially, to get anywhere, you need that extra edge and a desire to take hold of the world. Don't be complacent like so many Americans today. Rise up each morning and seize the day. Don't just waste every day or spend them serving selfish pleasures. Go forth and make somebody of yourself and make something happen. As we go on into the world, let me challenge you to remember your peers at PTHS. Remember the diversity of our class and all of our various friends with their own special talents and abilities. I hope that from growing up with such a diverse group of people, we have all learned to appreciate the differences among each other. I hope that we have all learned to accept people from other cultures, ethnic backgrounds, religious and various social orientations. As we go out, let us be a generation striving for togetherness and acceptance in the global community we live in. As I conclude, let me remind you to cherish every day of your life. If we live to reach our 70s, we will have lived 1/4 of our lives today. We devote the best part of our lives to school and formal education, and so I say, make the best of it. Realize that education is not only a few years in school, but a lifelong process, and I challenge you to fervently learn throughout the rest of your lives. Let's remember our parents, teachers, and elders for what they have taught us. It is only a short time before we ourselves will be teaching the next generation of graduates. Thank you.
Our third speaker is a Vice President of Student Council, Kirsty Lorraine Fink.
So often, our curiosity prompts us to question, to challenge, and to explore. This is especially true in our senior year, when our options seem limitless. Where will we go next, and what will that new place bring? Am I really the one who's graduating? And wasn't it just the other day that my mom would read me stories at bedtime? Ironically, it was one of these, entitled The Adventures of Alice Underground by Lewis Carroll, that reminded me of the questions that I'm still asking myself. The main character, Alice, is always delving into the unknown in order to satisfy her curiosity. One such quest landed her in a rabbit's hole, where she found herself asking what had caused her to change. She says to herself, "Dear, dear, how queer everything is today, and yesterday everything happened just as usual. Was I the same when I woke up this morning? But if I am not the same, who am I? Ah, that's the great puzzle." But her different feeling did not impede her curiosity. She soon found a bottle of liquid, which she drank in order to learn its consequence. After drinking it, she grew, and continued to grow until she no longer fit in. It was much more pleasant at home, thought Alice, when I wasn't always growing larger and smaller. I almost wish I hadn't gone down that rabbit hole. And yet, it's rather curious, you know, this sort of life. Like Alice, we too are feeling a little different this morning. For today, we end our time here at Peters and embark on a new adventure. New questions will arise and new paths will be forged as we, like Alice, delve into the unknown. We have already gone so many changes throughout this adventure we call school. And doesn't it seem as though it's all happened so fast? Just last week, I went to see a bug play performed by the Pleasant Valley 2nd grade. It was so cute. In the midst of the songs, the costumes, and the dancing, I cried. I can remember being in their situation, and I guess it doesn't seem all that long ago. We have really come a long way. We've come from recess kickball games, to bus patrols, to gold books, to teen centers, to green passes, to licenses, and to proms, and all the while we've been growing. Now, I know it's been 12 curious years, but doesn't it seem like just a little bit of time? And now, just like Alice outgrew the rabbit hole, we have outgrown high school, and the time has come to move on. As Alice says in a sorrowful voice, we are all grown up now. At least there is no more room to grow up anymore here. The future, like our past, holds good and bad, promise and perils. Today, we commence our journey toward that promise and those perils. We will no doubt face frustration like Alice did, yet hopefully, like her, we will be grateful for the opportunity to experience all that the next steps in our lives will offer. We, too, will find this sort of life rather curious. Thank you.
The last of the student speakers will be Jared Phillips.
Hello. I am here today to recognize the alumni of the Peters Township class of 1946. As I look over the members of this class, I'm reminded of a quote from the best picture of 1996, Braveheart. Every man dies, not every man truly lives. Because these alumni are truly living. They are the embodiment of what the Peters Township School District wants to produce. I hope that when the members of our class return for our 50th reunion, we too can set such an excellent example to the graduating class of 2046. Now I would like to introduce to you the class of 1946. Mary Baird Ford. John M. Boyce. Harold E. Bradburn. Robert Martin Clark. Wilma E. Crawford Simpson. Gail Cushy Dobosh. Catherine Margaret Daniels Caprini. Loretta G. Emmerich Green. H. Allen Houston. Elmer Robert Jones. Louis Martic. Jean E. McMurray Hutchison. Ernest A. Mickich. Michael G. Osessa. Harold R. Patterson. Ethel L. Patton Caston. Maxine Renko Weber. David J. Rennie. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 1946. Thank you very much.
It's now my highest honor as the principal of Peters Township High School to present to Mr. O'Kelly and to Dr. Urso the class of 1996. With this, I certify that each member of the graduating class of 1996 have successfully completed and fulfilled the requirements for graduation set forth by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Board of School Directors of Peters Township High School. Mr. O'Kelly will speak, we will present diplomas, and Dr. Urso will present the class to the audience. Mr. O'Kelly.
Thank you, Dr. Hages. As the representative of the school board, it gives me great pleasure to stand here before you on this exciting day. The entire board is here to celebrate with and offer our sincere congratulations to you, the class of 1996. This is a very special day. It is the culmination of a successful journey that began 13 years ago. 1983 was the year. As kindergartners entering school, who could have known what challenges might ultimately come before you? The world, and even Peters Township, was a lot different back then. Though you may not recall, the Cold War was still being fought, and the Berlin Wall still divided Germany. Computers were in their infancy. The now antiquated 286 model was just an inventor's dream. The modem was just becoming readily available, but the World Wide Web, internet, and even email had hardly been considered feasible. Tape players and records were the choice for all ages. CDs and CD-ROM were only shown in futuristic magazines. Students signed up for shop or home economics, not iTech or family and consumer science. Cellular phones were still a status symbol, a few years away from becoming the common tool that they are today. Technology was a word sometimes heard, but not many had an understanding of what it stood for. What this means for the graduates sitting here is that you've all had to adapt to a changing world, a more technologically advanced world, and one that will probably continue to change at even a faster rate. According to Price Pritchett in his book titled New Work Habits for a Radically Changing World, there are several trends that you all will encounter as you enter the workforce. The economy is shifting towards service and knowledge industries. The information supply available to us is doubling every 5 years. The workplace is becoming much more global. Adaptation to the information age will be an ongoing part of your education. It's been said that success is a journey, not a destination. The effort to get to your destination makes the achievement of that goal all the more satisfying. The same should be said of this graduation. Commencement means a new beginning, a time to reflect upon the wondrous challenges you have met head-on, handled admirably, and learned from. Your lives will contain many obstacles and triumphs. Your experience here has left you prepared to handle whatever fate has to offer. Today you leave behind a wonderful community, full of the teachers, friends, and family who have guided you thus far. Today we gather one last time for a common purpose, to wish you all the best of luck. Congratulations, class of 1996.
Jared Paul Amon. Devin James Babcock. Brian Max Bear. Nathan Barjaband. Joshua P. Barrett. Samuel A. Basil III. Jason A. Bastian. James L. Bateson. Timothy William Beck. John Robert Bell. Nicholas Lee Brunetti. Jason Theodore Burns. Ronald Robert Bushyeager III. Gordon C. Kaysen. Michael Allen Chornick, Jr. Anthony J. Calissimo. Charles Adam Cordonovas. John Daniel Costello. Brad Jason Crean. Timothy Matthew Cribbs. Carrie Ann Altoff. Kimberly Ann Altieri. Melinda Tracy Alvord. Robin Michelle Amick. Nicole Elizabeth Arnold. Melanie Jane Acid. Catherine Renee Bardzel. Jennifer Laurel Books. Bethany Lynn Brandstatter. Shelley Ann Bull. Kimberly Anna Button. Julia Christine Caldwell. Jillian Mary Callender. Emily Ann Cardinale. Marissa Deanne Carrillo, Lucy Sabroni Gozinski, Renee Ann Conway, Courtney Ann Chorus, Melissa Ann Zaplowitz, Jeffrey P. Cunningham, Paul DeFazio, Matthew T. Devine, Matthew Mark D'Angelo, Andrew James Dominowski, Christopher Ronald Donati, Randy Dumm, Jeffrey Joseph Dyer, Robert Daniel Ellis, Adam John Fabian, Ignacio Filippini, Robert Louis Fix, Jason Matthew Fredericks, Justin Edward Furman, Thomas Clancy Gallant, Darren Harold Gardner, Jacob James Garrick, David Jason Gilbert, Brian Joseph Gadava, Stephen Charles Gunzenhauser, Kira Marie Davis, Lauren Livingston Dick, Kelly Lynn Doran, Bree Monet Dorsey, Amy Joanne Eld, Erin Marin Elmore, Shane Marie Farnham, Janine Renee Fetterline, Nicole Lynn Ferentz, Jennifer Lynn Ferry, Kirsty Lorraine Fink, Julia Ann Gabriel, Heather Marie Gartley, Kendra E. Gates, Jamie L. Glazer, Lisa Lorraine Glass, Michelle Elizabeth Goss, Samantha Grove, Christina Lynn Hamilton, Heather Corinne Harrison,
That was Peter Joseph Halberstadt, Jr. Benjamin A. Hart. Jason Edward Henry. Adrian Andrew Hensley. Stephen Howard Herb. Stephen J. Hill. Jeffrey Tyler Hooper. Peter A. Holtman, William Bradford Jarman, S. Benjamin Johnson, Sean Patrick Johnson, Christian James Jones, Timothy Michael Kachuriak, Michael Eric Kalsovic, Chad Michael Karaleski, Cameron Jason Keegan, Brad Robert Keller, Christopher John Kennelly, Arthur J. Klaus, Kevin Paul Krizan.
Tracy Lynn Harrison. Jamie Lynn Helbling. Kimberly Ann Hillman. Kristen Ashley Holt. Courtney Lee Howe. Ashley Nicole Hudkins. Jenica Levine Huff. Michelle Marie Cal. Kelly Lynn Kaminsky. Jennifer Lynn Klein. Laura Brigitte Knapp. Lauren Marie Kofke. Dana Lynn Kozkowski. Julie Ann Kramer. Angela Marie Bellarte. Lisa Marie Lejevic. Natalie Land. Elizabeth Ann Mikowski. Risa K. Leitner. Alicia Dawn Lowry.
Kevin F. Crobeth. Derek E. Kruger. Joseph Stephen Kubani IV. Peter Joseph Leje. Matthew John Lohr. Jason James Marinsky. Jeffrey Terrence McCoy. Gary Wayne McCullough. Michael John McGreevy. Matthew Thomas McMurray. Andres A. Mex, Jr. Greg Robert Mercer. Anton Mikic. Thomas C. Mullaney. Brett Eugene Miller. Robert F. Millspaugh, Jr. Matthew Paul Moore. David P. Morris. Edward K. Nagao. Joshua C. Orick. Allison Lee MacArthur. Kelly Ann Martin. Leah Michaeline Mason. Heather Lynn Mattis. Allison Marie McCormick. Eileen Patricia McKenna. Susan Michelle Maliza. Elizabeth Bowie Myers. Jessica Kathleen Miller. Lauren Ann Mall. Erin Mary Muse. Laura Lee Noro. Tracy Michelle Achadsky. Janine Michelle Pierce. Jennifer Marie Peters. Laura Stephanie Pollard. Nina Ellen Polera. Sarah Beth Ponder.
Jason Nathaniel Pasquale. Jason Joseph Papa. Jared Phillips. Brian Joseph Carrasco. Kevin John Ramus. Michael R. Rapp. James Christopher Robinson. K. Wade Robinson. Michael Louis Rosito. Spencer Casey Rustin. Jason John Santarcangelo. Brian Andrew Shiwi. Robert James Scott. James Alexander Self. Seth William Shank. Adam William Seitz. Todd M. Scorich. Timothy Scott Scovrin. Gregory Spory. Michael Leo Stazer.
Shannon Marie Reinstadler. Andrea Davina Rice. Meredith Caroline Rhineland. Mary Elizabeth Riley. Devin Michelle Ritter. Hannah Catherine Rumpf. Alyssa Joan Rushat. Suzanne Michelle Sales. Shalise M. Schultz. Charlotte Elizabeth Sarles. Karen Lynn Sigrelston. Jody Lee Segolan. Tiffany Amber Satina. Michelle Dawn Shoemate. Christy Lynn Slafka. Rebecca Lynn Spiegel. Summer Michelle Swindell. Erin Christine Trent. Elizabeth Nicole Turner.
Richard Kendall Stelfox Jr. Justin Matthew Sudall. Cameron James Tate. Bradley Lightholder Thomas. James Patrick Tobin. Justin Stephen Turok. Adam Decatur Toon. Andrew Michael Valeri. David Matthew Vendetti. Donald J. Wagner II. David Paul Warzinski. Thomas Joseph Wisnowski Jr. Kyle Austin Woodward. Zachary Scott Worthington. Han Scope Yoon. Jeffrey Anthony Zawacki. Abby J. Vaughn.
Rebecca Ann Williams. Kelly Lee Woodward. Lindsay Catherine Ray. Jocelyn Nadine Rossick. Brandy Caroline Yankura. Danielle Marie Young.
Before I offer a few words and do my official part of the ceremony, I'd like to take this time, if we could. We've had the teachers and staff who worked so hard over the past 13 years with these students to get them to the point where they are. We've recognized the class of 1946. We've also recognized the Board of School Directors who worked very long evenings to try to make what we believe to be an excellent program. I'd like to have the parents stand if we could. We need to recognize the parents, grandparents. Let's give yourselves a hand, and students, let's thank your parents. I'm not going to have this group stand. Along the way, those 13 years, a few of you had to make a little side trip to the superintendent's office for a little chat. I'd like to especially congratulate you. If we've helped you get back on a track, we're very proud of that. Having the distinction of being the last to offer congratulations to this class of 1996 is truly an honor. But I must confess, it is challenging to try to impart some meaningful thoughts to an audience that I am sure would rather just impart. Let me offer, however, at least a modicum of reflection. I won't risk calling it advice. If this were 30 years ago, at a time, I must confess, in which I sat in a similar seat 12 miles south of here, I would be able to say that with a high school diploma, you have acquired most of the knowledge that was ever needed to be successful in life. But as Mr. O'Kelly has stated, with knowledge doubling every 5 years, the currency is not merely possessing a high school diploma or any number of degrees of higher education, but having the desire and ability to continue to learn. Being able to continually acquire and apply knowledge, however, is only part of the equation. Let me suggest that there are several other factors, ones I'm sure you have learned to apply well enough to give cause to celebrate our achievement on this day. I'll just refer to the equation as A equals 2F plus P. And as with all equations, the factors balance each other. The A is for achievement. The first of the F's is for focus. Achievement requires incredible focus. To set goals, to avoid distractions and diversions, this has challenged and will continue to challenge the class of 96. Being focused often requires sacrifice and discrimination. Balanced with being focused is being flexible. The journey to achievement is wrought with unforeseen obstacles that will test one's ability to adapt. Passion represents the first of the P's. Passion is more than motivation or action. It is a deep, driving force, a fervor. When naysayers, and there always will be and always have been naysayers, when naysayers cast aspersions on your dreams and efforts, it may only be your passion that will sustain you. Finally, balance the passion with patience. Do not expect others to immediately share your vision or your passion. That is something that only you may own. For as the French proverb states, to know how to wait is the great secret of success. Therefore, class of 96, take with you your passion and patience. Take with you your focus and flexibility, and continue to achieve. And so, class of 96, with the authority vested in me in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Peters Township Board of School Directors, you are granted the rights, privileges, and immunities thereunto appertaining as graduates of Peters Township High School. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, feel free to come onto the field with your graduate. The ceremony is over. Larry.